Hello, my dear engineer. Welcome to another video. Sit back, relax. Welcome. Welcome to fame versus money, my friend. Let me make sure my app is working. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Fame versus money. Okay. This is positioning versus getting clients. There is a trap. You think that if you post enough, you built enough of an audience, and then clients will find you. The mentality of only manifesting or only attracting through broadcasting. And this is what we call the fame path. It works for some people, but it's slow and uncertain. The alternative, my friend, is the money path, directly reaching out to people who can actually hire you. An engineer with 500 followers and zero clients is confused about what drives income. But on the flip side, the other version of you, an engineer with 50 followers and three active clients, understands the difference between visibility and revenue or cash, clients, how to get paid. So, visibility versus income. You can be invisible and profitable. Most successful freelance engineers are not famous. They're not famous. They're not influencers. They're not going viral. They're not on a podcast. They're not posting on LinkedIn every day. They're not making on comments to strangers. They're not making YouTube videos. They're profitable because they've solved one problem. They know how to reach their ideal client directly and convince them to hire them. They know how to reach their ideal client directly and convince them to pay them. That's it. You don't need a professional or personal brand. You don't need a huge audience. Don't need to be sharing value, building your brand. You need a clear message, a direct channel, and a repeatable process. I'm going to say that again. You need a clear message, a direct channel, and a repeatable process. You need a system of acquisition. Visibility is a byproduct of success. Cheers to coffee. As I record this video at 5 a.m. in the morning, let me validate that. Oh, almost 6, but still 5. My bad, sorry. Still 5. You don't need a huge audience, my friend. You need a clear message, a direct channel, and a repeatable process, a system. You need to install a system. Visibility is a byproduct of success, not a requirement for it. Not a requirement. We call this in business fancy variables, or for many, just noise. Busy versus effective. Activity is not an achievement, my friend. Deploying that special app is not really an achievement unless it drives income, or unless you have previously defined in a specific scope and a definition of done, so that you can properly evaluate that you building on a side project is gonna give you or build you up so that you can leverage it to then have income. Busy engineers post, they network, they learn, optimize, get a new certification. Effective engineers do one thing and one thing only. They execute the single action that moves their objective forward. Let's talk about clarity. Clear objectives. The sniper approach. If your objective is $5,000 per month in 90 days and your blocker is no leads, then posting a blog post is busy work. Sending 20 cold emails is effective. You cannot be both. You cannot be both. You can have it all. You can have it all in life. You can have it all, not just all at the same time. This is principle driven knowledge. This is not me sharing things I heard in a podcast, or regurgitating words I heard from someone else. These are things I've seen in the past 11 years doing freelance, in the past 3 years helping people, helping engineers actually drive income to their lives. Okay? You can have it all, not just all at the same time. So choose effective. Busy feels productive, because you can also talk about it. You go grab a couple of beers with friends, and then you tell them, hey man, I'm posting on LinkedIn, building my brand. You can talk about it, but that's noise. It's busy work. Effective produces results. And in many cases, my friend, effective is pretty boring. So you're gonna be good at being boring. The real obstacle. Welcome to the real obstacle. And I'm gonna hurry up because I want to make this video short for you guys. Life chaos is the real enemy. Life chaos is the real enemy. Your environment is fighting you. You're not failing because you lack discipline or intelligence, my friend. You're actually pretty smart. And in many cases, you're smarter than me. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I know who I'm talking to. And bro, let me tell you, I truly believe you're way smarter than me. I'm not. I'm just gonna say it like that. I am quite envy, as a matter of fact, of your intelligence, just straight up. But the thing is, I was when I was younger, I was so, I'm not sure if dumb or simple minded. I just end up doing what drove income. That is a reality, and now I can just like replicate the behaviors, and I can share it with you. But I've been always envy of your intelligence. I love engineers, and that's why I do the work that I do. And I also hate the fact that companies take advantage of you, and they just see you as replaceable. And with all this knowledge, we're gonna fucking fix that. Okay? So your environment is fighting you, and you're not failing because of a lack of intelligence or discipline. You're failing because your environment is designed for distraction. Your phone is buzzing, vibrating, making sounds. Slack all day. Slack. We all love the Slack sounds, but it's noise. Slack is open. You have 47 browser tabs. I am guilty of it. Your calendar is packed with meetings that don't matter. This chaos makes clarity impossible. You can't define an objective when you're being pulled in 20 different directions. I know I have a bunch of tabs open. Everyone talks about it, but I always keep it very simple. I know what I'm doing, and I just get it done. And I focus on the things that drive revenue. So the real obstacle is not the 20 different tabs or the different noises. The real obstacle isn't a lack of willpower, is that the environment makes you focus impossible, makes your focus impossible. Too many inputs. Too many inputs, my friend. Say information overload. Information overload. Now there's information everywhere at all times, and inputs high fucking frequency all day long. Too much noise. So you follow 50 people on Twitter, on X, or YouTube, whatever your platform of choice. You're in Slack communities, Discord. You listen to 5 different podcasts. You listen to a podcast when you're eating. You listen to a podcast when you're showering. You're listening to a podcast on the background while working. Each one is telling you something different. Learn AI, focus on a niche. The fuck is a niche? Build in public, do outbound, optimize your profile. And this isn't education, it's noise. Too many inputs. It's preventing your clarity, my friend. You can have it all, not just all at the same time. This is principle based knowledge. You can't think clearly when you're constantly consuming conflicting advice. If I'm telling you to focus on revenue driven activities, but then you're listening to a podcast of Joe Rogan telling you to post on LinkedIn, or I don't know who you're following, but and then you, instead of sending an email or sending the Upwork proposal or doing the outreach through LinkedIn, you go listen to a podcast, or you go and make a LinkedIn post to share your ideas, then you don't have clarity. That's all noise. This isn't education, it's noise. Too many inputs prevent your clarity. You can't think clearly when you're constantly consuming conflicting advice. The solution isn't better inputs, it's fewer inputs. The the equal and opposite force, the inverse of focus is distraction. So I'm going to simplify in the next 4 minutes how you can just eliminate distraction so that you default to focus. So why smart engineers still fail? Intelligence doesn't guarantee clarity, unfortunately. Unfortunately. The smart engineers often fail at freelancing because they overthink. They see all the possibilities. They want to optimize everything. They end up confused because they're trying to hold too many variables in their head because they can. And if you can, why wouldn't you? Right? Clarity comes from constraint. Thinking constrained, like I was when I was younger, not capability. A less intelligent engineer with a clear objective and a simple plan will outperform a brilliant engineer who's trying to do everything at once. Simplicity beats intelligence when it comes to execution every day of the fucking week. The good news is that we can fix it, and we will, my friend, we will. That's why you're here. Focus inversion. So, focus versus distraction. Focus is a choice about what to ignore. Plain and simple. Focus is a choice on what to ignore. Focus isn't about concentrating harder, it's about removing everything that isn't your objective. Like a horse. That's why I go like this. Just be like a horse. You have to ignore for a period of time the noise. Okay? So, if your objective is to land a $5,000 retainer in 90 days, then anything that doesn't directly serve the goal is a distraction. Learning a new framework, distraction. Building a side project, distraction. Optimize your personal website, distraction. Focus means saying no to good opportunities to say yes to the one that matters. Why? Deleting apps beats willpower. Environment beats motivation. You don't need more willpower. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not stupid. There's nothing wrong with you, homie. You're good. You need a different environment. If you want to focus on cold email, delete X Twitter from your phone. If you want to focus on client work, close Slack. If you want to focus on sales calls, turn off notifications. Willpower is finite and exhausting as fuck. There's an emotional cost attached to willpower. I know that. Environmental design is permanent and effortless. Think of it as a system for to support your one singular goal. The engineer who deletes his social media apps will outperform the engineer who tries to resist them through sheer willpower. Remove before you resist. Deletion is easier than discipline because most engineers try to resist distraction through discipline, and that's fucking hard. Instead, remove the distraction entirely. You can't be distracted by Slack if you log out or close it, and you can't be distracted by Twitter X if it is not on your phone. You cannot be distracted by email or the sounds of emails if you just check it once a day instead of constantly. This isn't about being weak or stupid. It's about actually being smart. You design your environment so that the default action is the right action. How this applies to Upwork. All right. Upwork clarity means one profile, one niche. On Upwork, confusion shows up as a profile that says, I do web development, mobile apps, DevOps, and consulting. Client sees that and they think this person does everything, so they're probably not great at anything. Clarity on Upwork means one niche, one value prop, one value proposition, one type of client. I help a Series A startup scale their backend infrastructure, and that beats I'm a full stack engineer. Specificity wins. How this applies to LinkedIn. LinkedIn clarity means direct outreach, not broadcasting. Most engineers use LinkedIn to broadcast. They start posting things, and now with GPT, they post pretty much all day. They post updates, hoping someone will notice them. Clarity on LinkedIn means identify 50 ideal clients, research their problems, send a personalized message. You have to send a fucking message, man. Not, I'm available for work, but I noticed you're scaling your team. I've helped 3 similar companies reduce deployment time by 60%. And I have 3 different ways I do that. And this is the one I think is best for you. And this is the cost. One message, one clear value proposition, one ask. Broadcasting is confusion, direct outreach is clarity. How does this apply to outbound? Outbound works when you have one offer. Cold emails fails when you're trying to sell services, but it works when you have one specific offer. I help SaaS founders reduce their cloud cost by 30% in 90 days. Or I build custom Shopify integrations for e-commerce brands doing $1 million plus annually, or whatever it is. I automate client acquisition of e-commerce, making $20,000 in sales a month. One offer, one target, one message. You send it 100 times, every fucking day, someone will respond. And then it's a matter of closing the deal. That's not spam, that's clarity. Confusion is trying to customize every message to every person. Why one goal beats 10 different tactics? Tactics without an objective are just noise. You could optimize your Upwork profile, post on LinkedIn, do cold email, attend networking events, build a portfolio, create a new case study, launch a new podcast, and that's 10 different tactics. And then you hope that something sticks, right? You're literally quietly hoping. You're like living your life as a developer in quiet desperation, if you will. You're just like literally hoping for signal, hoping for a yes, hoping for something. Or you could take control of that shit, my friend. And you can pick one fucking objective and use all of your intelligence to fucking kill that one objective. Land a $5,000 retainer in 90 days. And I know it's scary and confusing at the beginning, but it's the best way, man. You can have it all, not just all at the same time. And execute the one tactic that will get you there fastest. For most engineers, that's called email or direct outreach, because that's just how life works. Do that until it works, then optimize. Trying all different tactics guarantees confusion and failure. And to close this video, the one principle: define the objective, remove distraction, execute the best single action. This is not a motivational statement. Quite the contrary, it's pretty boring. It's a decision framework. Decision framework. I'm making these videos for engineers. If you're not an engineer, get the fuck out of here. I make this for engineers. It's a decision framework. Define the objective. Be specific about what you want and when you want it. Remove distraction. Delete the apps. Close the tabs. Say no to good opportunities. Execute the single best action. Do the one thing that moves your objective forward, and then do it again, then do it again. And that's how you go from confusion and uncertainty and that fear, the quiet desperation, to clarity, to peace, to the good life, man. That's how you go from stuck to profitable. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.